Hello everyone, today our topic is how to add clients and create Toggl Track project from Google Sheets row. So here my objective is that whenever in my Google Sheet I'm going to add the details of new project and new clients, then automatically I'm going to capture the details of that row, and after capturing those details I'm going to first create a client in Toggl Track, and after creating the client I'm going to create a new project in Toggl Track. For that I have to simply build a connection between Google Sheets and Toggl Track. So for building this connection, I'm going to use Pabbly Connect, which is an amazing software for automation and integration. In Pabbly Connect, I have to use triggers and action. In trigger application, I'm going to use Google Sheets. In action application, I'm going to use Toggl Track. So how I'm going to build this connection? For that, let me take you to my computer screen. I hope all you can see my computer screen. And today we are going to see that how we can create Toggl Track projects and clients from Google Sheets row. So here in my Google Sheet, I'm creating this database, and in this spreadsheet, which is named as Toggl Track Projects and Client, I'm adding the details of my projects and client. So whenever I will add a new row with details of my project and client, then automatically I want to use the details of that row, and by using those details, I will create a new client and project in Toggl Track. So this is going to happen automatically. So for this, I have to build a simple connection between my Google Sheet and Toggl Track. And for building this connection, I'm going to use Pabbly Connect. And for building this connection, it requires zero coding and programming skills. So for using Pabbly Connect, I have to open a new tab and search for pabbly.com. And this will take us to this landing page of Pabbly. Here we have two options, sign in and sign up for free. If you don't have any account with Pabbly, you can just sign up for free, and it will take only 2 minutes of your time, and you will get 100 of tasks free every month. Or if you already have an account, you can just sign in and you will get to see this page. So these are all the apps that Pabbly offers, and we are going to use Pabbly Connect here. For that, I have to click here on this Access Now button under Pabbly Connect, and this will direct us to the dashboard of Pabbly Connect. Here, this is the workflow section, and we can see all the workflows that we will create here. And this is the folder section. We can create new folder here, and we can save any workflow in any particular folder that we want. Now here, I want to create a new workflow. For that, I have to click here on this Create Workflow button, and this window will pop up. Here I have to name my workflow. So I'm going to name it as my objective, which is to create Toggl Track project and add clients from Google Sheets row. So I'm going to select the folder where I want to save my workflow. So I want to save my workflow in this particular folder of home. So it is already selected. I'm going to click on Create. And this will take us to this most important window of our workflow. Here we have two boxes, trigger and action. So these are the two main principles on which our workflow works on. And trigger says when this happens, action says do this. So trigger is going to be the first step that will get executed in our workflow, and action will just follow that. So we have to set up our trigger first, and here my trigger application is going to be Google Sheet. So I'm going to select Google Sheets here, and now I have to give a trigger event. So I'm going to open this tab. A new or updated spreadsheet row will be my trigger event. So I'm going to select this. And now I have to connect Google Sheets with Pabbly Connect. And for that, I have to follow all this instruction. So first I have to copy this webhook URL, and I will go back to Google Sheets. And in this, I have this option of extensions. So I'm going to open this, and I have to go to add-ons, and I'm going to click on Get Add-ons. And this will take us to Google Workspace Marketplace. Here, I'm going to search for Pabbly Connect webhook. So I'm going to open Pabbly Connect webhooks, and here we can see we have this extension. So for connecting Google Sheet with Pabbly Connect, we have to install this extension. So I have already installed this extension. So I'm going to close this. Now we'll go to extensions. I will go to Pabbly Connect webhook, and I'm going to open initial setup. In this, I have these two options, webhook URL and trigger column. So first I have to give my webhook URL that I have copied from Pabbly Connect. So I'm going to paste that here. And now I have to give a trigger column. So the trigger column will be a final data column on which if the data is added, the whole of that row data will be sent to the webhook URL. So in my spreadsheet, I have these 4 columns, and in the last I have this column D, which is going to be my last data entry column. So this is going to be my trigger column. So I'm going to type column D here, and I will click on send test. So my test data sent successfully. Now I'm going to click on submit. Now my setup is configured successfully. Now I'm going to close this. I will go back to extensions. I will go to Pabbly Connect webhook, and in this I have this option of send on event. So I'm going to enable this option. So after enabling this option, what is going to happen is that whenever I will add a new details or a new row in my spreadsheet with the details of project and client, then automatically those details of the row will be sent to Pabbly Connect. Now let's go back to Pabbly Connect. And here we can see we have received this response. So my trigger column is column D and my spreadsheet name is Toggl Track Projects and Clients. And in this I have the project name, which is Pabbly, and the project description, which is this is the integration and automation software. And I have the date, which is 24th of Feb 2024, and I have the client name, which is dummy user. So I have received all the details that I have in the row in my Google Sheet. Now I'm going to use these details to create a new client and a project in Toggl Track. So for that I have to set up my actions tab. So I'm going to open this tab, and here my action application will be Toggl Track. So I'm going to select Toggl here, and now I have to give an action event. So I'm going to open this tab, and create a client will be my action event. So I'm going to first create a client. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to connect Toggl with Pabbly Connect. So I'll click here on connect. I will click on add new connection. And for connecting Toggl with Pabbly Connect, you have to give the username and the password of your Toggl account. So I'm going to fill these details. So I have filled my username and password. Now I'm going to click on save, and I have successfully connected Toggl with Pabbly Connect. Now I have to give the workspace. So for that, let me take you back to Toggl. And in this, we are using this workspace of Ashira. So I'm going to go back to Pabbly Connect, and I'm going to map that here. So for selecting the workspace, you have to open this tab. And in this tab, you will find all the workspace that you have in your Toggl Track account. I only have one workspace, so I'm going to select that. Now I have to give the client name. So I have the client name in my Google Sheet row. So I'm going to use that detail, and I'm going to map that detail here. So for that, I have to use mapping. And what mapping is a technique through which I can retrieve the data from the previous tabs, and the data that is changing will get replaced with the new data in the real time. So for mapping, I have to click here. I will open this response of Google Sheets. And in this, we have the client name, which is dummy user. So I'm going to map this. So I have filled all the required details here. Now I'm going to click on Save and Send Test to Quiz button. Now I'm going to click on Save and Send Test to Quiz button. And here we can see we have received this response. So in the response, we have this client ID. So this means that I have added this user as a client in Toggl Track account. Now to check this, I will go to Toggl Track, and in this I will go to clients. And here we can see that I have added this new client in my Toggl Track account, which is dummy user. So I have added this client from my Google Sheet row. Now I will go back to Pabbly Connect, and I'm going to add a new project, and I'm going to add this client in that project too. So for that, I have to set up my last actions tab. So I'm going to click here on this add actions tab button. And again, I'm going to use Toggl Track. So I'm going to select Toggl here. And now I have to give an action event. So I'm going to open this tab. And for creating a project, I have to select this action event as create a project. So I'm going to select this. And now I'm going to click on connect. So I have already built a connection between Toggl and Pabbly Connect. So I'm going to use that existing connection. So I'm going to click on save. So my workspace is already selected. Now for creating a new project, I have to give a project name. So I'm going to map my project name from Google Sheet here. So I'm going to click here. I will open the response of Google Sheets. And this is my project name. So I'm going to map this. So for making this client detail dynamic, so that whenever I will add a new client details and project details in my row, then automatically these details will change. So for that, I have to click here on this map button. So I'm going to clear this default response, and I'm going to open the response of Toggl create a client, and this is my client ID. So I'm going to map this. So I have mapped my client ID here. Now, whenever I will add a new details of my client and project in my Google Sheet, then automatically by using those details, I will add a client first, and I'm going to use those client details in my last actions tab where I'm creating a new project. So I have mapped my project name and client ID. Now I have all these details here. So here I have this option of template. So I can choose an option here whether the project be used as a template or not. So I want to use this as a template. So I'm going to select true here. And now I have to give my template ID. So in the template ID, I can enter the ID of the template projects used on the current project's creation. I can also leave the field blank by enabling the map button. I don't want to use the current project's template ID. So I'm going to click here on this map button, and I'm going to clear this default response, and I'm going to leave this blank. Now, if I want my project to be private, then I have this option. So I'm going to select yes here, and I want my project to be active. So I have selected yes, and my project is also billable or not. So I can select that too. So I want this to be billable. So I have selected yes here. So I have filled all the required details here. Now what I need to do is I need to click on Save and Send Test to Quiz button. And here we can see we have received this response. So this is a positive response. And this means that I have created this project by using the details of the Google Sheets row that I have added. And before this, I have created a new client by using those Google Sheet row details, and I have added that client in this project too. Now to check this, I will go back to Toggl Track. I will go to projects. And here we can see that I have added this new project in my Toggl Track account. And in my project, I have this client which is dummy user. So I have added this project automatically in my Toggl Track account by using the details that I have in my Google Sheet row. Now to check this in real time, I will go back to my Google Sheet. And in this, I'm going to add one more row with the details of my project and my client name. So I'm going to fill those details here. So I am going to add these details in my row. So this is my date and my project name is going to be testing and my client name is test user and my project description is going to be this is for testing. So I'm going to click enter here. So I have added this row in my Google Sheet. Now to check whether I have added this client and project in my Toggl Track account or not, let's go back to Toggl Track. And first I will go to my clients. And here we can see that I have added this new client in my Toggl Track account, which is test user. So this was the name of my client that I have added in a new row in Google Sheet. And now I will check whether I have added a new project in my Toggl Track account or not. So let's go back to projects. And here we can see that I have this new project in my account, which is testing, and the client is test user, and the date is 24th Feb. So here we can see that I have just added these details in my Google Sheet, and by using those details, I have added a new client and a new project in my Toggl Track account automatically. So here my connection between Google Sheets and Toggl Track is working successfully. So whenever a new row will be added in my Google Sheet with the details of the new project and client, then automatically I'm going to use those details and I'm going to add a new client and project in Toggl Track account. Now let's go back to Pabbly Connect. And here I have built this connection between Google Sheet and Toggl. So let's summarize what we did here. So first I have set up my trigger and my trigger application was Google Sheets and my trigger event was new or updated spreadsheet row. Then I have set up my actions tab, and in my actions tabs I have used Toggl Track. And in my action events, first I have used create a client, then I have used create a project. So this is how I have successfully created this workflow. And you can also create this workflow by following all the steps that I did in my workflow. And I'm also going to put the link of my workflow in the description so you can check it out from there. And thank you for watching this video.
Not just these applications, you can automate and integrate a lot more applications like this using Pabbly Connect. If you need any help or if you have any doubt, you can email us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can post them at forum.pabbly.com, or if you have any issue with the pricing of Pabbly, you can connect on this link. And if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.